So I will come back to the issue of Labour Party. You know, when I see people who say they are disappointed in the Labour Party National Assembly members, I'm just like this. Did you choose them before? Why you? I get you are disappointed, but why are you disappointed? You didn't choose them. They are accidental National Assembly members. They got in there by virtue of their what do you call it now? Closeness. They were a Labour Party. There was a Mr. Peter Obi, and people felt that okay, let's vote everyone. You really did. We really didn't put them there. We don't even know what their characters are, what they're, some of them, their antecedents, what they are, how they are, whatever. We don't know that. So why are you so disappointed as if you did something? Why are you taking ownership of, I don't know, because if I'm disappointed in somebody, is like, I'm taking ownership of your failure. We didn't. If next time they get in there, that's where you now say that, okay, yes, the onus is now on us for rewarding failure. So, and I think that's the first thing, because I see a lot of people who are trying to put the power, oh, after all, I will vote. After all, the National Assembly members that got in there, see the way they are behaving. So maybe if we have voted Peter Obi, if Peter Obi had gotten, no, they're two different things. These are people who, first of all, their competence, character, and capacity were not checked. You just woke up and you saw them as Labour Party candidates. And so because of the fact that you knew Mr. Peter Obi, you were going to vote for him, you knew his antecedent, you wanted to vote for him, you extended that courtesy to other people. And yes, I totally agree with you. They've been absolutely disappointing. They have been. So that's where the issue of competence, character, patriotism comes into it. If you're talking about, when they're talking about, oh, the dollar is going high. I saw when the Senate president came out and was talking about that, oh, people, I think he was the one, it's people that are paying school fees, people that are doing I'm like, really? When you people, oh no, it wasn't the one, I can't remember whether it was the Senate president now or the CBN governor, one of those, in a way, APC of this illegitimate government, one of them were talking about that. And I'm thinking, what about the cars that were bought by the National Assembly members? Is that not dollars they were spending elsewhere? And what they simply do is that with those cars that they have bought, they have exported employment and imported unemployment into Nigeria, because they created jobs for another economy without creating jobs for their own self. If they had used that money in Innoson or the other car, the one, I think we have about 3 or 4 Peugeot and all of that in Nigeria, that would have helped the economy in a way. But the thing also is, why in the first place are we even buying cars for National Assembly members? If you don't have car, trek. If you can't enter public transport, if you don't have cars from where you are coming, this is the kind of corruption that we should be talking against. We've been talking against this for the last, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 8 years or so. That every of them, they come, they buy these cars, and there are people who have been I'm sure there are people who have been there since 1999 as National Assembly members, and they still keep collecting cars. Every time they keep on changing their cars. Meanwhile, how much is minimum wage? So at this moment, honestly, so the thing is to look at and look at it from the angle of, these people, were they the ones who were actually the ones who actually brought them in? It's just accidental. By their virtue of their closeness, they were the beneficiaries of the collective anger of the people, and also beneficiaries of people's support for Mr. Peter Obi. And then they got into office, and they're doing all the things they're doing without actually thinking really of the people's welfare. And I think one thing we must never do, let's not take on, especially the supporters of Peter Obi or those who voted for Labour Party last election, don't take on their failure as yours. You understand? If it was Peter Obi that went in and is failing, that's a different thing, because you saw him, he was the one you wanted. These ones are just accidental, this thing. But that notwithstanding, it's when it comes to the next election, you can't recall, you more or less cannot recall legislative members in Nigeria with the laws that we have. It's almost near impossible, because you need 50% of the registered voters, and I can tell you most of those registered voters are fictional. So how do you even get 50%? And one of the things that for me I've been agitating for over the years is that we need to have a new law that says 50% of the number that voted you in. So if you went to the National Assembly or State House of Assembly with 300,000 votes, we should need 150,000 votes to recall you back. They shouldn't tell us that we should go and look for 50% of 2 million or either 1 million that is registered there, because that's not it. The people, those are not the people that voted you to go in there. So that's one thing. In the case of Abia State government also, and I think Abia State government has really been has patronized Innocent very well. They've done that. And I know there was a time where they put out that they were buying, whether they were buying some cars, they had orders for some cars abroad, and there was an outrage. You understand? There was an uproar on social media. We all called them out. Like, what was that? What does that mean? You have a company there, and they did come to explain that, oh no, because of course the company, they needed this cars on time, and Innocent couldn't supply. Though we were like, oh, those are not excuses. Just do whatever you need to do. But I think Abia State has really been doing well, and even the Governor Alex Oti, the car that he drives is actually the Innocent. His official car is the Innocent car that he drives about. They're in their own way. They can only maybe pass a law for the Abia State government to say that they will only use made in Nigeria car. Even if you say it's not manufactured in Nigeria, even if it's assembly, let it be it was assembled in Nigeria, it's still creating job in a way. So these are laws they can, but they cannot pass a law that now that covers the whole country or the whole government or something like that. They can only do something that is related to them. And I think that would be a law that would really be good. The same way that the State House of Assembly has been able to pass that no more pension should be paid to any politician, any governor or deputy governor. I mean, this is also something that they can do to ensure that, you know, monies are kept within the country. But for me, it's for us not to also give legitimacy to people who constantly use monies to just constantly keep buying vehicles year in, year out. A vehicle lasts for like 20 years, 30 years. It's not something that you just keep changing anyhow. So what happened to the last vehicles that were used by the last administration? What we've had in some states is that when these governors are going away, they pack all the cars. Those are not their private properties. Those are properties for the state. And so there should be a place where whatever governors, vehicles, whatever, should be used, you know, subsequently. Let them fix them, let them repair them, let them maintain them. Vehicles can run for 20 years. It's not something, most of the Tokumbo that we use here in Nigeria, they're already 10 years old, 20 years old. So we must have that judicious, you know, use of our public funds. Then I think the question that came in from the message is that why did they collect Akpabio's money to pass budget? I knew there was a time when Akpabio said he was sending money to them, when they now had to correct him, and he was saying that, oh, it's message to their whatever. I don't know whether there's a factual this thing that monies were sent to senators or National Assembly members or whatever, but whatever shenanigan that is going on in the National Assembly, whether we know them or not, whether we have the facts or we don't have the facts, Labour Party members have been part and parcel of it, and it's really disappointing. And I see a lot of people who keep saying that, oh, you know, what can they do? They can't do anything. No, you can do something. You can take a stand. That's why you were voted for. People took a stand, and that's why they voted for Labour Party. So they have no excuse other than the usual greed. Of course, a good number of them were going there for their own whatever. Some of them went to Labour Party because either they couldn't get ticket from the other parties or they tried or one thing or the other. So it was not really about going in to serve the people. And I think as we go on and as we continue to go on with our democracies, to always ensure who are the people who haven't done the right thing. Labour Party, if your Labour Party senator hasn't done the right thing, why don't vote for them again next time, so that we go to a situation whereby people understand we must never reward failure, no matter how tantalizing it is. You must never, no matter whether you know the person, you don't know the person, you voted for the person before. Voting is not a life sentence. So if somebody hasn't done very well, just move on to another person. And that way to send a message to whoever it is that is coming again, for them to understand that, look, hey, Politics is not, governance is not about you just going there and doing anyhow. It's about you actually serving the people. And if you don't serve the people very well, definitely the people will take the action into their own hands and they will vote you out. Okay, I think that's the question. Then the other one is Mr. Peter Obi at Labour Party, and also talked about the National Assembly. So Labour Party, control of the party. So I will tell you this thing. I used to be in the same, I used to have the same opinion. I was having the same position like you did. And I remember lots of times I would say to Mr. Peter Obi, look, a lot of people, if you can't control the party, then how are you going to control Nigeria? How are you going to govern Nigeria if you don't have this thing? Then, so he would talk, he would explain, you know, and then I had like a paradigm shift where I was thinking, you know, this is what we fight against, but we want to still continue to use it in the sense that a party, there should be internal democracy in a party. A lot of people come in and they use this their power, just like what we see in PDP. What PDP has been suffering from now. You know, they enjoy the, what's his name now? This guy, the one that is doing boy in Abuja. What's his name?
Wike.
Wike, yes, Wike. You know, they enjoyed Wike's money. You know, that time that PDP was all over the place after, is it 2019 or before 2019 or something like that? You know, Wike's money was enjoyable. Now the thing don't hook them for throat. The guys say, after I don't spend my money here, I'm going to control this. So, but it's the same thing also we are asking for when we keep telling Mr. Peter Obi that he should control the party, you know, take hold of the party, because at the end of the day, where then is the internal democracy? So it took me a lot of time, because I felt like what I wanted, if you see all my action, because that's why when people ask me, when all of this whole drama about a neck, they had what did they have, that thing that they were voting, the convention or whatever, I was just, my mind, I was tuned off. I say I was tuned, because for me, I like to put my energy where I can see something that is working. The first thing about Labour Party, when that election was over, was we're going to sit down. This whole party by now should have like 10 million registered members. Let's begin to get people in, you know, do your convention, starting from the World Congresses, move it on, get people that will get this party working, revamp it, do a whole lot of things. And then the party people are holding on to this thing as if it's one thing or the other. I'm like, what's going on here? And they still can't see it. And so there's something that they call the law of the lead, right? And the law of the lead says you can't grow something beyond the mindset of the leader. So the leadership of the party, of the Labour Party, is still thinking small. They're not seeing this big, amazing, you know, opportunity that they have to be the biggest party in Africa. So it's very hard trying to get them to the place where they're. So they are still holding on to that small position that they held before, where people, if they don't get, maybe they don't get tickets in one party, they come to them, and then something they are getting whatever. That's where they're still fixated on. And so in the case of Mr. Peter Obi, like some of the explanation he did, he said, look, he's a party member, he's not a member of NEC. If you look at the constitution really of the party, he doesn't have that much, except if you want a situation whereby, like what is being done in other parties, bring in money, just throw away everybody, remove what do you call it, a democracy, remove internal democracy, and just do your thing. Then at the end of the day, what they have, we now become the people that we are fighting, just for us, because it's the easy way out, right? It's the easy way out to get the things that you need to do. So for me, it took a long time, honestly. I'm like, okay, let's begin to see. I see your point. Let's work on this. But I totally agree with you. And for me, the question I've been asking myself, you know, a long time, does it have to be Mr. Peter Obi that will start a new party? So that's the question I want us to leave all here with. Let's ponder on that. Because we keep saying, okay, Mr. Peter Obi, you get two heads. That means one head you get. And having another party, if Labour Party is turning out to be that party that is, you know, welcoming of the people who want to go in, the welcoming of, what happens to, maybe other people should just start the party. Of course, you can say that, oh, a party, any new party that is starting, of course, you're not thinking of running for presidency now. You don't have to do this. You can still make him your consensus, you know, candidate. if that's what needs to happen. But like, I totally agree. These are some of the conversations that we need to have. But in terms of Mr. Peter Obi, what he wants, and even like the Edo family, there were a lot of people who said, oh, you need to put your stamp, you need to do this, you need to, but he always insists on let the normal, uh how do I put it? Let justice be done. Let things be done the right way. That's what he's always after. You know, that internal democracy. Let the will of the people be, rather than one person who has so much power, you know, controlling everything. That's what we've had with other parties. And look how badly it has gone for Nigeria. It hasn't really worked for Nigeria. So let's not also look for a way where we are looking for one person that will control the whole party. Let's not look for that internal democracy that continues to yield people with competence, character, and capacity that will take the people. I don't know whether I've answered your question, but if I haven't, if I finish this thing, you can always let me know. And but I think for me, I've gotten to that stage where it's easier. I can tell you something. It's easier for Mr. Peter Obi to take over the party. It makes everybody's work easier. Take over the party, have a hold of it, you know, just do all of that thing that people do. Like we saw Wike literally hijacked a party and took hold of a party and did this. But how has that worked out for this thing, for PDP? And is that what we also want to see with Peter Obi and also Labour Party? Because at the end of the day, also, if you're doing things the same way others are doing it, what moral justification do you have to say that you're different, when in essence you're not really different? So that's some of the things that even I can tell you, it took me a long time, because I was on this man's head every day. I did on the neck, like, no, say me, my wahala for outside, you know, this wahala that they do for person face to face. It's hard for me, but he kept explaining. I got to a place, I'm like, okay, I see your own point of view. There's also, I think you also talked about the performance of Labour Party in nationals, where their performance, like I said, it really hasn't been what it should be. But at the end of the day, I'm not taking responsibility for their performance, because really, these are people who were like accidental in a way. They only were beneficiaries of their proximity to Labour Party. If I vote anyone that I vote for again, that's the person I'm going to take responsibility for. I think what we must also do, someone asked me a question earlier before we went on break, am I thinking about running for office? Honestly, my goal now is to get Nigerians to run for office. Honestly, that's my goal. Get people with competence, character, capacity, whatever it is, run for office, get into National Assembly, whatever it is. Let's get people that will do the right thing, so that, you know, we will have time. We will have that good governance that we are yearning for. Right now, we haven't gotten it. And unfortunately, with the Labour Party members that had come in, they haven't really shown the way that they should shine. And it's quite unfortunate, really.